Hey guys, welcome to Marketing 101. I'm Matt Sinclair. I've been with RunSignUp as a technical account manager for going on 5 years now. In today's presentation, we're going to be covering creating your baseline, finding out where you are and where you want to go, and developing a marketing plan, a 5-step marketing plan with how to get there, essentially. At the end of the presentation, we're going to do an intro to the RunSignUp Analytics dashboard, cover the Facebook Pixel, as well as get into some social sharing options that you can already do within RunSignUp to help with marketing and promotion. So as a show of hands here, who is a race director of a race? Okay, pretty much most of you. Who is especially like a timer only? And what about event management companies? Okay. And who just likes raising their hands just to raise their hands? Great, awesome. Creating a baseline is basically finding out where you are now. Very simple concept. How many participants am I averaging? How much in donations am I averaging? Finding out what your current situation actually is. Very simple to get those numbers from the RunSignUp dashboard if you already have a race. Starting out, if you're first time starting out as a race, creating a new race, then you don't really know where you are because you don't have any past data. But you can find out where you could be based off of who your target audience is and who your general base is. So finding out where you could be is, what are you striving for? What are you actually trying to do? Are you trying to grow participants? Are you trying to raise more money for a charity? Or are you just trying to put on a good event for the local community and how you can do that? And so your marketing strategy is basically designed between the gap between where you are currently and where you want to go. And based off of how far you are away from that's where you get to your strategy of how do you get there. And so simplifying your strategy, how do you get there? You can write out a list of goals, and eventually you can measure those goals to find out, are we on pace? What do we need to do? What do we need to ramp up? And this is actually a cyclical system. Every year you come back, you have a new baseline to start with. And it's just repeating that process each year to kind of get you where you are. So when you set goals, you have 1-year goals, you have 5-year goals, 10-year goals. And so each year you can set this goal and define how you can be successful at your race. So we'll kind of get into a quick 5-step plan of how to develop a marketing plan. But first, I found this really inspirational quote. It's from a motivational speaker. You may have heard of him. And I just found this great, is if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. So part of this marketing plan is where do you want to go? You need to set goals and basically write them down to find where everything is. So this is Jared, and he's going to help us with defining our company. What sets you apart? What services do you offer? What type of race are you offering? And what benefits that you have to set yourself aside from your competitors? And so that can be anything. Do you have a special hook on your race? Are you giving a special swag shirt? Are you raising money for a specific charity that nobody's heard of? What are you trying to do and get out of your race? And so it's a very simple SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths and weaknesses are more internally focused, looking inside at your event or your company. So a strength could be, you have a really great venue that you want to have people to a really nice race course. But a weakness could be there's no parking, and so you could just kind of identify what you're doing and where you can get there. And the opportunities and threats, those are more external factors. What type of opportunities in the community do you have? What can you do to grow your event? Where a new local business is in town. It might be a new sponsorship opportunity, things like that. And then threats could come in. What do you have? Is there a competitor coming in, or you're getting kicked out of the park for having your venue there, things like that. Once you've kind of figured out, who you are internally as a company, you can look externally to find out, who is your target customer that you're trying to get. What's the demographics? Who they are. And I would really say, as a simple exercise, write down a 1 paragraph of who your general customer is. You probably already have, if you're a smaller or non-iconic race, just your general, 200 to 500 person 5K that might not have a big hook. You probably already have a baseline customer of a donor database or things like that. And so helping yourself to understand who your donors are or what you're trying to do can get you how to market to those people. Because if you have a starting point, and they'll be the hook to get you into to where you get to go. And so we kind of do that internally here at RunSignUp as well. Our UX team does a great job at kind of getting under the hood and figuring out who our customers are. And this is just an example of a template that we use to find out, creating a fictional character of who the person is. Who is Ron the runner? Who is Patty participant and who is Fred the fundraiser. And so it's a nice little exercise. It doesn't have to be right. It can just be a way to figure out who that person is. And so here's one of the examples. We have Tara the timer. And just basically come up with stories like, hey, this person is between 46 and 55 years old. She's actually married to Tim the timer, and Tim is the owner of the company. And just kind of create a background story. It'll kind of help you understand your target audience and how to engage with them a little bit better. And then you can just create general information that you think a person would be. It doesn't have to be like a fictitious story about a person. And I just think this is a neat exercise to go through to kind of really know who you're talking to. Again, back to writing down what you want to do. If you see it every day written down, it's a great way to actually get there. And so finding out what you actually want to achieve. It's a very simple concept. You see something every day. People in like a locker room at a sports, coming out of the locker room, they probably have a quote, and you probably see people like hitting the door before they head out. It's just something to keep you motivated, what you want to achieve. So writing down a short list of goals, because at the simplest baseline is a marketing plan is a list of actions of what you want to do and when you want to take those actions. And so getting them written down, as simple as when are we opening registration? When are we sending out that email blast to our runners to get them? When do we want to have a price increase? How do we want to hit that last 2 weeks to ramp up registration? And what are we going to do in those last 2 weeks? Are we going to send out Facebook custom audiences? Are we going to send out just different types of marketing campaigns? And to make those also measurable, you can measure how far you want to go out from the race and what you're doing for your timelines. A simple timeline for a small race could be something like open up registration 3 months out. Schedule your pre-race email. While you're thinking about stuff, you don't have to wait until 10 days before the race to send out your pre-race template. You can do all those scheduling in the email system. So if you were in here, the last presentation, they went over how to schedule an email. 3 days out, have a price increase, letting people know to go ahead and hurry up and sign up before the line comes out. Just very, very basic things. And you can measure the success for a price increase email. It's like, hey, how many people registered in that last couple of days before the price bump? And then you can kind of gauge what you need to do after that. The strategy and the tactics of your race, it's really the bread and butter of your marketing plan, but I like avocado toast. So I think this is the avocado toast of your marketing. Some examples are the team awards. You might have heard the Scott Coffee race. They give out special socks to whoever has the most people on the running team. That can be like a different way to market to people. If you think of a team captain as a key influencer, those are people that you want to target because they're going to bring additional people to your race. Offering club discounts. One of the races that I work with, they didn't promote it at all, but they just offered a club discount to the local running club. And that club uses RunSignUp, and there's a calendar of a list of all the races that use RunSignUp and are offering that club membership discount. And they got 10 extra people. They didn't spend any money on it. All they did was say, hey, there's a club discount. They didn't promote it. They didn't market it. And they got traffic from that running club that they probably otherwise wouldn't have. Activating your base. You probably already have a list of email addresses from donors from the last 12 to 24 months, or a list of participants that have previously done 5K, 10Ks, or if you're a longer event, people that might have done half marathons and marathons. Activating your base with getting those people into your race and getting them to encourage their friends and family. That's a very key thing. And we have a lot of options that you can use in RunSignUp to do that. Sponsors are also a good way to bring notoriety to your race. You have a community partner, be a sponsor with your race. You can put them on all your marketing materials. You can bring brand recognition to your race that, this race is actually being sponsored by Wawa or, whatever. The tell a friend, that kind of goes hand in hand with activating your base. The referral reward programs and the referral swag rewards, getting people and word of mouth, it's very hard to measure, but we try and do a good job of knowing, hey, Sue recommended me to the race, and so she gets a $5 discount for every time she refers somebody, or a swag discount. I could get a nice hoodie or a jacket because she referred so many people. It's a great way to get people because, as you know, word of mouth is the most important way to get somebody hooked to your race, and that's kind of hard to do until you engage your base to get their friends and family there as well. Another thing is like, what's the hook of your race? What's the reason people are coming to your race? It might be simple as supporting the charity, but do you have a crazy idea that people run around at your tutu race and everybody runs in a tutu? Or there's a Casa superhero run that I work with. Everybody dresses up as superheroes to help support the kids. What makes you stand out? There could be a big medal. There's a series that I also work with called the Big Ass Medal series, and their race medal is enormous. And so that's kind of like the hook that they have to get people to come to all their races. And so it can be anything. It could be just what you're putting on, what you're engaging to the community, swag, could be shirts, medals, anything you want to give away. Every race has a shirt, but there could be races that give away beer mugs or just something different than a shirt, because a lot of runners, we have a lot of shirts. And so like, is the shirt really the best thing to give away to get people to your race? You can also say, our race has professional race day photos, results notifications that you're sending out. Like what sets you apart? What gets people? What's the hook to your race that people can find success with? The spending plan, this is kind of I guess not the dark side of this, but it's like you do have to spend money to this. And marketing is essential to success. But if you look at it, that you're always marketing, whether you're answering a participant email, reaching back out to somebody, if you're always marketing to somebody, you don't have to always spend money. It can be in answering a simple question. But when you're actually generally thinking about marketing, you're thinking about running ads, sending email blasts, and things like that. Whether the email has a coupon, that's all part of the budget, is you've reduced your race fee. And so that's part of the budget if you're thinking about giving away a coupon. And generally you want to stick to about 20 to 25% of your overall budget to spend on marketing to get participants at your race. All the tactics that you've kind of decided on what to do, if where you start at your baseline and where you're trying to go, if it's too aggressive that you need to spend a lot on ads, then you have to just kind of retool things of how to kind of get back on track. And you can always measure the return on investment. So with Facebook, you have the Facebook Pixel. We'll get into that, but measuring how much you're spending and how much you're getting back in, and it can see how much it takes to get a participant into your race, whether brand new or whether to keep a participant coming back. That's one thing that people also don't really think about, is once a participant comes to your race one time, that doesn't mean they're going to come back again. You still need to market to those participants and bring them back into your race every year. One of the other good things that everybody got in their packet is this race trends. If you haven't checked it out, there's a lot of cool ideas if you start thinking about what different things that you can do. One of the things that I thought was over 60% of participants are female, but only 4% of races actually give away gender-specific sizes. And so that kind of stuck out at me, and that could be a hook to your race, that everybody has a shirt, but it's just a generic unisex size. That doesn't really fit well for everybody, even though they say it fits all. So we'll kind of get into RunSignUp analytics, just a kind of overview of the dashboard. Basically, it is kind of what it sounds like. It's Google Analytics, but for your race. And there's lots of cool stuff that you can do here from previous topics that I've covered, like checking your baseline. And so the dashboard's very powerful. One of the things here is you can see quickly how many signups that you have, and you can click to expand this, and it'll give you a drop down and a quick year-over-year comparison to where you are last year versus where you are this year. And so this is something that you can always kind of check on a daily basis, and we're eventually going to be coming over year-over-year reporting with how many days out you are per event. So right now, on a per event basis, you're just going to say what the total was last year, but you can see where you're projecting out. And that's this drop-down menu on the signups button. It just kind of expands just like that. So that's very quick baseline numbers and see where you're at all times. And then the race dashboard, the analytics here, we have an overview, and it's always going to show your basic 7-day time frame, just because it has to load a lot of data, but you can customize this to whatever view that you want, whether it's 14 days, a month ago, or you can even put a custom date range. One other cool thing here is this little edit icon. So if you're more focused on fundraising, and marketing people and getting donations, we actually have some additional stat choosers. So you can choose that you want to also see donation amounts come in for your race. And now donations are at a fingertip right here, and you can see when they came in. And so if you did a marketing push for collecting donations, whether it's after the race or before the race, you can kind of control that through your race dashboard. And if somebody just likes to look at this all the time, but you don't want them actually accessing your race, this little lockup here is a way that you can give somebody access and just type in an email, and it'll give them access to your specific race and the dashboard. So all they can see is this dashboard overview. And there's a couple other analytic stuff that goes on here, whether it's transactions, different promotion options, and you can see customer loyalty and see how many people have done one time, how many people are repeat participants, and how many people, year over year have they come in there. And there's also a download that you can get to market to those people. And also we have the CRM that you can use to market to them as well. So that's just a quick overview of the dashboard, just to kind of navigate, and you can get whatever data that you want out of it, depending on what you're looking for, and run whatever reports you need. The Facebook pixel is something that it's really great. Anytime you're marketing inside of Facebook, you're gonna have a Facebook pixel in your Facebook ad manager. And so it's great. It's like, hey, I spent $300 on a Facebook ad and I got 500 clicks. Great. How much money did you actually make out of it? And so this actually closes that loophole. By you getting, it's a 15-digit pixel ID, and all you're doing is just kind of plug it in the system. So it's very easy. It's plug and play. You just put it in, and you can now measure the return on investment of, hey, I spent $300. I got 50 registrations from it. So I actually got $1,000 and I netted $700 or something like that. So we'll go and take a look at that. Facebook pixel. Again, you can just type in Facebook in the menu search, and it'll come up here with Facebook pixel is going to be under our promotion tab. And so here's what's actually going on the checkout page. Is there's all this technical script here that you don't have to care about that at all. We just kind of bold it here in black. This is 15-digit number that you need. And all you do is scroll down here and plug that in. Definitely recommend just keeping these two options on as the default. And now once you save the Facebook pixel here, anytime somebody checks out, this Facebook pixel fires and sends it right back to Facebook. And now they say, this guy got a click and this guy got a registration. And all of that's tracked through the RunSignUp Analytics dashboard as well. And so in the advanced marketing, we'll go over custom audiences and how to actually get a lot more out of marketing through Facebook.
So we have to copy and share that 15-digit, like where do we move that generates?
Yeah, so the question is, where do you find that 15-digit ID? That's going to be in your Facebook manager. The Facebook will tell you, hey, this is the code that you need to plug in. And so we give that example script of, hey, this is what they're throwing at you, and here's where it actually is. And then you just kind of pop that out. So you're not actually copying and pasting the script into RunSignUp. We just need the ID because we know all the other stuff that Facebook wants. So similar to Facebook and advertising on that, we have social sharing option where you can essentially do the same thing, and you can create your own branding for your event. By default, we're sharing your race logo, but you can always, not that the race logo would be something that's bad, but the race logo doesn't always translate well as far as an advertisement. So if you think of a bunch of smiling faces at your race, people having fun, there's a donut run that they changed to like a dozen donuts, and you're scrolling through your Facebook feed and you're like, oh wow, what is this? Whereas like a race logo, you might not stop and pay attention to it at all. So instead of the Scott Coffee logo, they've updated their social sharing image and created like a nice kind of like advertisement here. So now anyone that shares the link to the race on Facebook, this is the image that pops up, and you can control the messaging that pops up as well. So instead of the default description and the default race logo, you can customize when people are sharing your race link and to kind of make that your own miniature advertisement and kind of start telling your story of why people want to come to your race. Under the promotion tab, we have social sharing. And part of the referral tracking information that we're going to cover in the advanced marketing is also in here. But at the very bottom of this page is going to be our Facebook share. So you can add that custom description to kind of tell your message, why people should come to your race, what you're going to provide them, and it's going to be translated a little bit better when you're sharing on Facebook. There's special parameters in here based off of whether you're sharing, because it also works on Twitter, and depending on whether it's a mobile view or a full desktop. So there are some image parameters in here. I don't know if you can see that from highlighted, but it's 382 by 200 pixels for the small share image, and the 1200 by 630 for the large image. And so you upload those, and whenever you share the link on Facebook, it'll show you what you've kind of plugged in there. So it'll look like this rather than the default logo. So that's one thing that I always recommend people to do, because it's a free advertisement for your race anytime somebody shares. You're posting on your Facebook page that you have for the race, or you're posting on your event page, and that's what's going to come up every time. Facebook does cache a lot of stuff, so maybe not put like gear like the actual 2018 information in your image, because they try, and that's why Facebook's really fast whenever you pull up your friends list or whatever. They're going to cache all the information. So leaving it as generic as possible will help to where when you re-upload an image, that they'll be able to pull the new information for you. So with that, once you have a plan and you list out your goals, you follow them and kind of gauge where your marketing is going. If you stick to the plan comes together, we can call that the Philly special. So I know that was pretty quick. Happy to answer any questions. I'll be here all night. My email is also matt@runsignup.com. Shameless plug to runsignup.com/Matt. That also has some good information, other webinars and stuff that I've given to cover pretty much a gamut of any type of feature on RunSignUp.
I had a race probably 6 years on Thanksgiving Day, and generally started out at 1,200, and now we're about 1,800. And I've never really done much Facebook advertising. And most referrals, as you know, is family and friends and all that. What's your take if we try some of these techniques? I mean, I've never done this. In terms of the growth that might come from this kind of effort.
Yeah, so what are you looking for as far as like growth? Like, are you
just numbers, sheer numbers? Sheer numbers,
yeah. As big as you possibly can get.
I mean, for example, I have this 2,000 in my mind. I'd like to get to 2,000. Yeah. I've been around 1,700, 1,800, stuff like that.
Definitely, yeah. So viral marketing is a really good way to get there. You're pretty close, so I'm not sure how aggressive you would actually have to be to increase that last little about. So definitely try it out. You can start small. You can, with our race analytics dashboard, like for the Scott Coffee race, there was one just test thing. I was like, hey, I'll spend $50 on an ad. You could just kind of see what it does. And if you get 3 people from it, well, that's more than $50 in registration. And then you can ramp up to see how stuff is going, and kind of just keep measuring what your return is and where you're kind of getting, and see where your numbers are coming up until race day. Is there anything that you would add to like?
Definitely start out by using the social sharing options that Matt walked through, so the stuff that's free, and set up those and make sure that when somebody does share a post to Facebook that they are giving a good message. Sometimes, as I was saying, you can make that message better than just the race logo and race description. So that's definitely do that because that's free, and everybody who shares to Facebook, you're just going to get that as a better message out to everybody. In the advanced marketing, I'm going to go through Facebook custom audiences, and I'm going to walk through how you can take reports from RunSignUp and create different audiences within Facebook. So when you're creating targeted ads in Facebook, you're basically doing a better job of picking who those ads are served to. So definitely take a look at the advanced marketing, and we'll walk through those, and then that should give you some guidance as if you're trying to get started with a Facebook ad. Okay, well, who do I target? How do I want this to work? And you can set up an audience, run an ad, start out with $50 or $100 and just see how the ad performs.
And you're going to go over also in that session the referral
information as well. So basically what we want to do here is kind of give you basic marketing strategies, talk about being able to track your information so that you know what your results are going to look like, and coming up with a marketing plan for what your goals are going to be. And then in the advanced session, we're going to go through all the specific RunSignUp tools that you can use to implement these strategies.
Are you seeing a lot of the referral tracking, like the data, of people actually referring, like who your top referrers are?
No, I'm real excited because I haven't used that yet either. Right. And so, as you explained what you just did, I'm thinking in my mind, some of the very people who are probably promoting it on Facebook are probably going to be some of the people that I want to be my referrers too, you know what I mean? And like, how do you link the two or give them the code to use? So it comes back. Like today in the questions on RunSignUp, how did you find out about the race? A lot of people say Facebook. Right. Now we're going to go into a new world of how exactly did they learn about it on Facebook?
Was it a Facebook page? Was it an event? Did you run 3 ads? Which of those 3 ads were the most effective? That's exactly what it is. Establishing your baseline and understanding where your traffic is coming from. And that allows you to make better educated things. One of my favorite quotes, and it's been attributed to a number of people over time, but the old adage for marketing was, I know I'm wasting 50% of my marketing dollars. The only problem is I don't know which half. And that really used to be true with marketing because you would just kind of set up an ad, or you couldn't really, like a billboard or magazine, it was hard to track how effective they are. And being able to take technology and track things and do links, we get to the point where we can say, this ad is objectively better than this ad. And so I know, I'm not trying to guess, I think that this one was a better performer. I can look at the data and say, okay, this ad was better, I'm going to put more money into that ad, and I'm going to try a new one. This underperforming ad, I'm not going to run it anymore, because I know it's not as good as my other ones.
So the Facebook pixel, is that only per each ad that we're trying? So I know you said we can find that pixel code in the ad marketing, but if I do 50 different promotions for a race I have a year out, does it have one pixel ID that goes with all those promotions, or is each one?
Exactly. Yeah. Each Facebook marketing account will have one pixel ID.
So the account itself?
Yeah.
So for, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
when you're running an ad, it will tell you which pixel it's tied to. I think there is an upper limit of how many ads you can run, or how many different campaigns can be tied to a specific pixel, but that's within Facebook. So basically, if you have a race and you're running a set of ads, you should be able to use the same pixel for all of the ads.
Okay, great, thanks.
There was a marketing panel session a little bit earlier, and I thought they did a really nice job. For those that missed it, Andy Riley talked about a fair amount of detail about doing Facebook ads and what you're looking for and things like that. The one thing I thought was worth mentioning is when you do a Facebook ad, most people here don't know how to do online ads. You know, what's the, what is the measurement? And the two key measurements are CPA, cost per acquisition. So do I spend $5 to get a $25 entry fee in? Or return on ad spend, which is really the same thing, it's just a different way of looking at the formula. It's your return. So I got $25 divided by the $5 cost, it's a 5x, right? And so we see races going from about 2 or 3x return on ad spend, meaning that they might spend, you know, $10 to get a $30 entry, all the way to getting 6 to 8 times return on ad spend. So that's kind of the range that you're looking for practically. And a lot of races have been around for a long time and they're not used to spending money on marketing. And this idea is very foreign to them, that they would have to spend $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000 on Facebook ads. It's a very scary proposition. I will tell you that if you've got the base right, and the base is making sure you have a great race day experience, you have a great brand and great message, you know, that's kind of proven because you've got a lot of participants already. Facebook ads can really be quite helpful.
Yeah, if you haven't taken a look at the race trends, there's a great ideas that'll kind of give more of the data of what referral tracking is doing for other races and how you can increase, you know, what type of best practices there are, you know, how to give a free race entry for referring five friends, you know, what that'll do to your participant increase. On the back of that handout is the link. It's a very exhaustive report, but it's a lot of good information there. So I definitely encourage. We also have a couple blog posts, so it's smaller, digestive bits. That way you can take a look at it. But definitely take a look at that.
Are the blog posts on the website?
The blog posts, well, yeah, they're on our blog. The website, or the blog is accessible through our website. Yeah, just RunSignUp blog, and you'll find it. Great. Well, I tried getting us out here before lunch, so. Yeah, y'all get first in line for lunch now.